Back?
Yes, sir. We are back once again.
Well, what have you done in the last few days that's been constructive?
Constructive.
Yeah.
Edited podcasts. Slept. That was very constructive for me.
Yeah, I'm with you.
What about you, Puto Blanco?
Well, I've announced my marriage. I'm taking a woman off the market here on Valentine's Day. I mean, it only makes sense because I got to buy a gift, so I might as well just make it count for twice, right? Pretty good woman, treats me real good. So I figure, I've been alone about long enough. Let's try it one more again and see how I end up.
Well, I'm happy for you.
Well, you should be.
I am. Someone has to be.
All right, we're gonna go with the normal
format.
Normal format. We're gonna start with the local news. Hey, I've got hound dogs.
So if you hear the slurping in the background, it's not Puto Blanco sucking a dick. I'm not even coating this microphone. Fortunately, it's my microphone.
Yeah. But if you want to see what it sounds like for a 100-pound hound dog to suck out of a damn 3-gallon bucket, that's what it sounds like.
His poor ear's all wet too. It's fucking hilarious.
There you go, drip across the floor.
Oh,
that's
Jesus.
all right. I guess that's why there's hardwood there.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, distractions of the...
All aside. Yeah, let it go. Hey, ain't no sense in starting over. All right. Here's the news of the week. Being from where we're at, the Falcons took a hit this past weekend. Yeah.
They got slaughtered.
No.
Sure they did.
They didn't get slaughtered. They got beat by...
Slaughtered.
They got beat by a better team.
Well, obviously. But it was history.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing about the whole situation is that I'm a Patriot fan first. I was born, raised here in Atlanta. I'm an Atlanta Falcons fan, make no mistake. But the first team that I ever played for, I was on the 55-pound Patriots down at the Midway Ballpark down there in DeKalb County in 1972. And I've been a Patriot fan ever since. I went through a whole lot of 2-14 seasons to get to where we're at now. I remember Steve Grogan. I remember Darryl Stingley getting assassinated by the assassin himself. 32 for the Oakland Raiders. I mean, the dude speared him and broke his spine.
Jesus.
I'm a Patriot fan. I went through a lot of bad years before Belichick came along.
Well, you have to. I mean...
Yeah. I mean, they were nothing. They were the laughing stock of the AFL.
That's what makes you a true fan.
Yeah. But I didn't want to rub it in because I am in Atlanta. I really didn't want to get gang raped by a bunch of guys that I personally work with or who work for me. And because I wasn't an Atlanta fan. So I will say this. I'll say it this time. I'll say it, and I mean it this time. I will never bet against my Patriots again. If Atlanta and New England come up again, unfortunately, I'm going New England silently. I don't want to get shot for my choices, which is, it seems to be the way that the world is moving. Did you know that Brady's jersey got stolen?
And the football, too?
Yeah, how about that?
It's sold. Stolen my ass.
Well... Brady says he knows exactly where he left it, and it's a $500,000 jersey. But it's going to go into the
Hall of Fame.
Along with the ball.
So he thinks he knows where he left it, right?
He knows exactly where he left it. Because, they had to put on the world champion shirts, and he left it, and it got picked up along with the ball. Hearing.
Yeah, that's what I heard too. So, and just because I'm curious, they print both teams' stuff, right? They
Yes.
print Falcons world champion, blah blah blah.
I would think so.
No, they do. I know they do. What do you do with the stuff that's no longer relevant?
Well, they send it to Somalia, and they give it all them kids, and then whenever we're shooting them from helicopters, they're wearing Falcons world champion jerseys, right? Or are they just melting them down and turning them into garbage? It's a good question because, I mean, global warming is a thing. And if we're just taking half a million...
Global warming is not a thing. Global warming is not what it's made out to be in the media. How about that? The Earth warms and cools
there you go.
a couple degrees, and we may be in a warm cycle.
It's a cycle.
It's a cycle, but it's all cyclical. So when Noah released the data that everybody likes to use to say the Earth is warming, that's because it fit that agenda.
So Noah had giraffes and rhinoceroses and mosquitoes.
Not Noah's Ark. No, Noah, Noaa.
Oh, well, being the liberal here, I have to go with, I mean...
National Oceanic.
A ship that, had two of each.
Yeah, breed. I know. And then kangaroos were on there too, but somehow they managed to immigrate back to
where they came from?
Australia and not leave a single bone of their dead along the way. And swim however many thousands of miles it took. No, the National Oceanic Association, blah, blah, blah. NOAA.
That's very confusing for people who've only got the ability to understand the Bible.
That must be. Yeah, so the data that they use for, and this is off topic, where this was not on the agenda. At least it wasn't on my agenda. But
let's skip it. All right, global warming is bullshit, right? This is where we're headed to. I mean, Noah and the Ark and all.
No, not Noah's Ark. NOAA.
Right. Yeah, they all. It's a cyclical thing.
Yes.
Now there was a magnetic pull that happened on December 21st, 2012, that kind of cocked up our magnetic pull, which put us into a wobble that's a little bit wider than what we're used to over the last 1,600 years.
That might be true.
And it gave us a different wobble.
Okay.
I mean, the alignment of the magnetic poles.
Well, we never were spinning on a perfect axis anyway.
Correct. That's why the calendar sits kind of fucked up-ish.
Well, that's why it's been changed half a dozen times.
And maybe again. But the Mayans were right. They were really
that the world is ending?
No. Well, no. That there's going to be a change. And the change is that the magnetic poles separated by, say, 3 degrees a decade.
Okay.
0.3 degrees.
That's probably better. Yeah.
0.00003.
Yeah, right.
But anyway, we got a wobble.
Okay.
Well,
we wobble, we fall down. Go ahead.
As far as what I have been told, there was a tornado that touched down in, oh shit, what's the name of that country? It's Croatia.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
That's never happened before. Europe doesn't know what tornadoes are.
Italy had one last week. Something along those lines. Yes.
Which means that, something is out of whack.
I would agree with that.
There's a balance that's not being met.
I would agree with that. My frustration is with the fact that to fit the agenda of global warming, even though we are in a warming cycle,
yes, I agree.
They only released 37 years of data because that's what fit their agenda. When we have 55 years of data, that shows a cooling trend before the warming trend. So,
well, and the warming trend or the cooling trend, whichever it's going to be, it is going to be altered by the wobble of the axis.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So there never had been a tornado. We could end up with one, and they be introduced to a whole new world of horrific shit that we've been dealing with since.
Georgia has tornadoes all the time, right?
Yes.
God hates trailer parks. That's
correct.
Yes.
And really hates them in Oklahoma.
Well, that's understandable. It's all flat. It's nice and easy back there.
Yeah.
That's what happens when glaciers slide across the world. But Atlanta had a tornado go right through the city a couple of years ago.
We didn't think that was possible.
No one thought that was possible.
Right.
I was standing outside when that happened.
Well, the Peachtree Plaza, which at one time was the tallest glass hotel on the planet, had some windows sucked out, and they had to be made again. And it's...
You talking about the cylinder building?
Yes, the two cylinders.
The two cylinders,
with
right.
Elevator on the outside.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
The windows of the world. No, that's the World Trade Center. What is it? It's a Sundial.
Sundial Hotel or Sundial Restaurant up there.
Yes.
Yep.
They had some windows sucked out.
Oh yeah.
Well, during that same tornado, it touched down in the part of town that I know well, which is called Cabbagetown, which is where mine and my dad's early employment for me, but my dad actually retired from the old Atlanta dairies, and it was wiped out during that same tornado, and it never recuperated.
We had
these are the folks that used to supply the milk, chocolate, and the whole and the skim and the 2% to the entire state of Georgia.
Back when you had a milkman.
I have operated. Yes.
I still have.
Yes.
I have the old tin whatever cooler that you put on your front porch with the with old glass bottles from back home. Yeah.
That's very cool.
Yeah, I have a couple cool things like that. I'm fortunate. I got a big old one of those 6 foot long 2-man saws.
That is very cool.
Yeah, I got some pretty cool toys. Yeah, I was standing outside. For those who don't know, I used to run security for a group of nightclubs in Atlanta, and I was standing outside working the door as usual on a Friday, Saturday night, and
I was on the inside.
And we alternated depending on who was there and how cold it was.
Right. Yeah, I got that. Yeah.
And
security is security.
Yeah, that's right. And yeah, standing out in the rain wasn't a big deal, but when it started raining sideways, and then sideways the other way, and the wind started picking up, I took my happy ass inside. I've never seen storms like that.
Gump shit.
Yeah, dude, it was wild. It was wild.
We were coming back from a family reunion one time. My family reunions were always held in Covington, Conyers area. Well, during that time, from the mid-'70s to the mid-'80s.
Did you have to take a horse and buggy back then, or was that?
No, they had actually built like concrete places where you could actually drive vehicles.
What a novel idea.
A lot of.
I was always wondering what it was like in ancient times back then.
There was a lot of smog that was added, smog displacement devices added to those vehicles during that time that really killed horsepower. It was a shitty time to be a car guy.
Oh yeah, and the gas crisis, and the rationing, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. The 74 anything was garbage. The 75 anything was garbage. The Oldsmobile had a 74 in a Hurst Olds 455 that had like 165 horsepower. How do you take a 455 and drop it down to 165 horsepower? I mean, you can't choke it unless you've got a fucking restrictor plate on.
Tiny
I don't
pistons,
even understand
possibly the size of your penis, maybe, just as an example.
Not even that. You just choke it out by putting carbons back through the carburetor, so you choke the shit through. I don't understand what they thought then. Why did they create such shitty cars?
I don't know. I was fortunate enough not to be alive back then. Hell, my mom was barely alive back then. Anyway, let's move on. I know we get off topic here, but let's try and hit all the points and have.
Still local? I would think so.
Yeah, I mean, Falcons.
You got some information about
Falcons lost, and that sucks. I mean, you always want the underdog to win, but when you're going up against 4-time Super Bowl winners,
Tom Brady is being looked at now as the ultimate target for the white resistance.
Oh yeah, because he refused to go to the White House when Obama was.
No, he didn't do that. No, he didn't do any of that.
Yeah, whatever.
He's just the white guy. He's the pretty boy that's rich. And
he's married to Gisele Bundchen, for God's sake. I mean,
well, she's Brazilian.
Whatever she is. She's nice to look at.
She has a good bloodline.
Yeah, that's to most bitches. Anyway.
I mean, you know something about a bribery charge. here.
I think we both know something about a bribery charge.
Yeah.
I know more about how they get the data and how they get the information.
I don't want a whole lot of detail.
Okay. So we have 2 Atlanta officials. One indicted that should likely plead out Monday, I believe. Plead guilty for accepting $185,000 in bribes for city contracts. Pay to play, as we learned from the Clintons, is illegal. Although usually you don't go to jail for it. Interestingly enough, the people that are going to jail are the people that paid, not the people that accepted.
Yeah, that's
which is why one of the many reasons Clinton's not in jail. But so
Clintons aren't done yet.
No, they're not. Nelson Mandela had to serve 27 years in jail before he was able to be president. So if she lives to be 110, she lives to be 110. She could be president.
I'm looking forward to that.
First century club president.
I actually hope that she arrives as our country's leader after the time that I've been put in a fucking creek somewhere.
$185,000 bribe, and also, there's another yet-to-be-named official that has taken just over $1 million in bribes in the last 5 years. The $185,000 was over 2 years. And they are being prosecuted at a federal level. The people paid the bribes, not the people that accepted the bribes, which is yet part of why our system is so jacked up.
Correct.
And they're being prosecuted by the IRS, which in conjunction with federal prosecutors.
Hell, it was enough to put away Capone.
Yeah, because if they can't get you anything else, they will get your ass on tax evasion.
There you go. So
Uncle Sam wants his cut.
Well, the other case, as far as what I remember, the minority bid who hadn't been yet named has got $1.2 million. We're not looking at $185,000. We're looking.
But that was over 5 years versus $185 over
correct.
2 years, I believe.
Yes,
but
absolutely.
From a business standpoint, how do you pull $1.2 million or $185,000 or whatever out in cash?
In cash, yeah.
In a non-cash business. And we're not talking about Joe's remodeling construction here, where he comes in and he frames out your deck or some stupid shit like that. Yeah. You can hand him cash. We're talking about big road construction,
basically,
things of that nature.
At that point is you've got to do the guy's backyard that paid you in cash. You've got to have actually running 2 sides. You've got to have the guy who pays you in cash so that you can pass the cash on and it not show up through an electronic transfer.
It's just... I'd be interested to see what the total of the contracts that they got.
Well, the one with the $185,000, that was 10.2 million. Okay, so that's a pretty good investment.
Yeah, $200,000 to make 10.2. Yeah.
As it turns out, if you look at it, say in the Detroit area, which has already filed for bankruptcy twice, I think.
Cities can do what they want. Why not?
They got polluted water.
Yeah, Flint drinking water is still as bad as the water at the eyewash station.
And it seems like the liberals, they kind of run that show. Am I right?
Oh, every town, city, state, whatever you want to call it, that has major problems, Flint, Michigan, Chicago, Louisiana, San Francisco, Los Angeles, they're all Portland, Seattle, they're all heavily...
Salt Lake City.
Well, those are heavily Mormon, which is a separate issue. But they're all heavily liberal, and what happens with liberals? Liberals can't manage money because they don't know how to make the money, they just know how to spend the money and tax people for the money. So that's why all these places are in the shitter.
I don't like being the liberal in this case, but I have to always bring up these conservative points because it's like I really don't have anything else to fall back on because I don't really know how I can keep holding on to this liberal agenda, seeing how things are going. I don't get it. I keep trying to find a loophole for these guys to slip through, and I'm not, dude. I'm just not finding it. I don't know where to go.
Well, as long as they can continue to convince other people that a vote for the liberal agenda means they don't have to work as hard and They don't have to pay as much in taxes and whatever else. Is as long as that happens.
I mean,
yes, essentially the snowflakes.
They're snowflakes.
I read an article today where a Democratic congressman has requested some type of documents that have to do with his conversations with Rudy Giuliani and the whole travel ban on the Muslim thing, and how they wanted to ban Muslims specifically, but do it in a legal way. And basically, they're calling this the first step of the impeachment. Now, snowflakes. If you think you can impeach this man for something like that, or anything for that matter,
no, that's not going to happen.
If he is impeached, you will see what true riots look like. Yeah. You think these little riots that you've been throwing on, your little protests and holding signs up and not my president and all that bullshit, you have no idea what you are in for.
Well, I think they do, and that's why they keep their mouth shut.
I don't think they truly comprehend how bad.
I've seen the guys who are out here protesting and they've got their pussy hats on, and I'm here to tell you, dude, they're not folks that are going to suddenly toughen up because they've got a 22 in their hand. I mean, they look sickly. The guys, they're all look like they're anorexic. They don't.
But what's a 22 going to do? Unless it's point blank in your fucking heart or your head.
I mean, it's what the assassins choose. But that's
right, because it's close quarters, and they're going to put it in your heart or your head.
I understand that, but you've got to understand how weak these people are who are actually standing in these protests and being paid to be there.
Right.
They're vegetarians, first of all.
Right, so they have a protein deficiency. I got you.
Right. And they're pale and they're weak and
they're frail.
They like propane as opposed to gasoline or nitromethane. I don't understand. They're just, I mean, they're weak. You look at them and you see what they are, and they're not scary. They're not even, they're just barely there.
They're a joke. I agree.
These are not people that we need to be afraid of.
I am certainly not.
The folks that I tend to be afraid of are the folks who they hide in their
bunkers.
No, they actually kind of hide in their places of worship. Let's say they hide in their
mosque
in that neighborhood at least, right?
All right.
They've been taught on this land through Penn State, University of Miami, fucking Kentucky. They learned how to set us on blaze. I mean, this thing has been in place for a while.
Oh, yeah. You're talking like sleeper cell kind of stuff? Yeah, that exists. But, that exists everywhere in the world. There's always, to some degree, there's always the other faction, the other side plotting against us. Yeah, I don't know. Of course, I hope it doesn't happen. Wanting the president to fail is like wanting the pilot of your plane to crash, and that's just fucking ridiculous. Whether he's my choice or not doesn't much matter. It is what we have and what we are stuck with. We survived 8 years of Obama. We survived 8 years of Bush before that. My guess is we'll survive. Whatever term Trump has.
Moving on. We're still going to need power. We're going to need to be able to sell our goods and our wares and our energy sources to other parts of the planet. Looks to me like we're creating jobs on
left and right, man. Left and right, we are creating jobs.
What are we bitching about? We're going to have to leave people inside the borders of the wall because we're going to have more jobs and we're going to have Americans to fill them. Guys, you're more than welcome to stay. You know what? Here's what I would suggest. If I could vouch for somebody and I say, look, as an American citizen that has all of my documentation, I should be able to sign for this person, this person, this person. I will sponsor them as being good citizens. They do not leave. They're part of my family. I would actually like to see that happen. Just say, look, this guy, Carlos Huevos, he's a good dude.
Okay.
Keep him here.
Here's our problem with that. And once you grant, and this goes back to amnesty and why amnesty doesn't work, right? So, say you granted 20 million people amnesty, like is what Clinton wanted to do. Why that doesn't work is because when you grant one amnesty, the family comes too. So now your 20 million is times 5.
I'm with you there.
Now you have 100 million new people.
See, now this is where this hurts me. I get what you're saying. You're talking about 100 million, and you're absolutely right. And families should not be broke up.
No, I agree with that.
Absolutely should.
And this is the land of opportunity. But God damn it, do it right. Most of the people that are here predominantly did it right to get here. They followed whatever laws there were at the time. Not exclusively.
Here's the thing, though. I mean, if you came over here as a member of MS-13, your fucking ass needs to go home, and the sooner you get your fucking ass home, the better off we all are. I won't never forget the speech, and I think this is when I kind of softened up my liberal side, is when Trump called himself the law and order president, right?
Okay.
That's language that most folks aren't used to. They're not used to saying, hey, I'm wide earth, by God, I will take you the fuck out.
But we need that. We can't claim to be the superpower and have the biggest army and all this kind of stuff and be untouchable without somebody that'll say, look, I will blow you off this fucking planet.
Yeah.
Play with me. Try it.
And if you think I'm fucking with you on a global scale, wait until you see me in your neighborhood.
Right. Wait till Kim Jong-un gets a piece of this shit. This is what happens when you give a 26-year-old at the time, 35-year-old now, the keys to the fucking kingdom.
You're right. Yes. It's Prince Charles all over again. He killed Camilla and the other chick, or whoever. He's killed a bunch of folks.
All for nothing. He's going to be king for a matter of months.
He'll never be king, dude.
Assuming that happens.
He's not going to outlive that old bitch. That bitch is evil. She's not dying.
She's 105 if she's a day.
Yeah, she's going to the beach tomorrow. She's not going anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
She's going to outlive everybody in this clusterfuck that's tied up today.
Prince William will eventually be king.
Yeah, surely the fuck. This is what pisses me off about all of Europe and especially England, is that when you're talking politics, you still follow a fucking queen, right? And who does? What is her play in the whole global deal, other than somebody to take pictures of? I don't get it.
She's essentially like their president.
She's a president
without being elected. She's the figurehead. She is the whatever. It's, she has a final say in certain things.
Whoever is elected as their prime minister
is like their secretary of state.
But she's still pulling the string.
Yep. She still has final say in certain things. But
we can't eliminate this whole goddamn bloodline so that we can move on.
Well, no, it's a monarchy. That's how it works. There's a bloodline and anything else.
This
Moving on.
Yes. Where are we at here? How about we go to national news?
All right.
We got some tax cuts coming.
I hope so. I would have liked those before I filed mine, but I'll take what I can get. 2017. I'm with it.
Retro.
I might make $1 or $2 this year, hopefully.
It'll be all right. It's all going to work out.
Hell, I already got my state refund back. What do you mean it'll work out?
Yeah, well, that's retarded. I mean, that's why they give you to April 15th. I mean...
Bitch better have my money. They shouldn't have taken all that shit out in the first place. I want my cut, motherfucker.
Yeah, well, I get you, but I mean, the game ain't played that way.
Apparently not. So I'll get a credit for next year. Whatever. I hope we have some tax cuts coming. He has promised that, among other things. Apparently he's promised to take down Nordstrom if they don't sell his daughter's clothing, which is amusing to me.
I'm going to move on to something that's kind of close to me.
Gay rights?
No.
Just checking.
Not yet. NPR.
Public broadcast.
Yes.
PBS.
Yes. This is kind of... It's like every other liberal broadcast that's ever been cut.
Right.
It's a failure.
It is.
They're receiving $445 million a year for programming that nobody pays attention to. I don't understand why they're still in existence. I mean, we're at $20 trillion in debt, and we can save $445 million a year by cutting out something that nobody cares for.
Here's the thing. They have their telethons to raise money, their radiothons to raise money, all this stuff. They're getting $500 million fucking dollars a year. What are they doing?
Well,
Trump as a businessman, he's going to start cutting programs.
They're selling a product that nobody wants to buy.
I like Antiques Roadshow.
Okay, well, okay. So every now and then, but there's a whole lot of cable networks out here who could pick that same show up, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be from government funding.
Absolutely. But I think that's part of the fair.
If you like the show, other people would too.
Yeah.
And creating their own network cannot be that difficult when it comes to Antiques Roadshow.
And they had that Downton Abbey, which was very popular. I never really watched it, but apparently...
Downton Abbey? Isn't that a BBC show that comes on... Yes.
Was it a BBC show?
Yes.
I think PBS was simulcasting it or some shit like that, I thought. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
So you don't even pay attention to it, and you're the fucking liberal in the room all of a sudden.
I'm not the liberal in the room.
Well, you're defending PBS.
I said I like one goddamn show.
Well, yeah, a shitty show.
We'll smack the liberal straight out of you.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to assume that this is a turning point for the. All right, I'm about to get into globalism for the first time, possibly. But
no, either we're getting into it or not. It's not possibly the first time.
It's. I'm going to assume that pedophiles globally are on the run.
I hope so.
Right now.
Burn those motherfuckers down.
Right. From what I can tell, men's clubs. Oh shit! Help me out with the ones out there. The whole thing where you're bribed into being the evil you is about to be busted wide ass. So
the evil. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah. Me neither.
Okay. That wouldn't be the first time.
Son of a bitch. I can't think of these groups. They're the globalists. They're the guys with the owls in the background and the burning of the... fuck.
I feel like you're talking about like Masons or something like that.
Kind of, yeah. Any of these men's groups that,
Masons, the Elks, the Eagles, the fucking Moose Lodge.
I'm not going to go with the Eagles. Not quite yet.
Not the band and not the Philadelphia Eagles.
Well, the Eagles.
Although the filthy Philadelphia anything is horrible.
Philadelphia.
That's right. Philadelphia. I hate that place. The only thing good for is cheesesteaks and a little bit of history. Outside of that, best thing come out of there is 95 South.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Is there anything interesting about Planned Parenthood currently?
Well, I mean...
I know you said you didn't even want to bring this up. But
I don't so much care. Like, they do a lot of good things with getting women tested for things they need to be tested for, getting them birth control and things like that. Now, abortion is legal. So?
It should stay that way.
Whether it does or whether it doesn't, it is currently legal. Well, defunding them doesn't change the fact whether it's legal or not.
I think this is where I become liberal, like way to the far, is that I think that all abortion should be legal because it's not like every creation that hits this planet is going to be like a stellar individual.
Well, we have a population control issue to begin with, and we also have the issue of all the children that are in foster care and homeless and things of that nature that, to me, really needs to be addressed before we start worrying about how many fucking kids we're going to procreate. Like, I happen to know a guy who, I think the world of him. He's a hard-working dude. He works his ass off 6 days a week. He has 6 kids.
Yeah.
He works on a 1099 basis. I promise you he doesn't make maybe a third of what I do. He doesn't make a lot of money at all.
Gotcha.
Pays 0 taxes in throughout the year. And because he has 6 freaking kids, who he takes care of all by himself, by the way, he gets $7,000 fucking dollars back from the government.
Really?
The problem is that our government incentivizes us to do what they want us to do.
Bad behavior.
Have children.
Yes.
Get married.
Yes. They want us to have children, then have them cut apart at Planned Parenthood, and then have some of them raised in housing projects where everybody starves to death. I don't understand. We're still at the same place. We're still right back where we started.
We are, but we have a population control issue, and separate of that, it's legal. So you don't like it, change the law, but don't defund people that are doing things legally.
Does it surprise you that the most notorious serial killer in the world, probably the most, as history goes on, is going to be a guy who worked for Planned Parenthood?
Oh, are you talking about Kermit?
Yes, Kermit Gosnell. I mean, from the same city the city of brotherly love. This guy, he was raised to execute children, and he has no issue with it, so why should we? Surely the fuck you can't be upset about the manner where these kids were killed?
Yeah.
It doesn't bother me none.
No, it bothers me more the way people treat animals than it does about abortion. And I realize that sounds harsh, but
I'm with you there.
Yeah,
I'm really with you.
You know, I get the children
people
ask
are so
for
goddamn stupid.
Yeah,
I mean, we deserve everything we get.
We are getting it too. That ain't the fucking truth. We are absolutely getting it.
We have no clue where we're headed, why we got here, and where we're going. Can we move on to celebrity news? I mean, I don't know where we're at as far as time goes, but Katy Perry has inflamed some folks who's decided that some of her inflammatory remarks incite riots, and that's fun.
Such as?
Well, I wish I gave a fuck, but I'm sitting here reading it right now. Right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, such as a new Katy Perry song encourages anti-Trump riots,
Well, that might be true.
I mean, Beyonce's having twins.
Yeah, good for her.
Gave a fuck, and there's some shit going on.
They're going to be just as ugly as her fucking husband.
That's going to be
bastard.
exciting. Everything the Kardashians do is going to be fun from now on. And Alec Baldwin is still going to be a superstar from now on. And his opinion on basically everything that happens in the world is irrelevant. And Ed Asner, I'm surprised you're still alive. Then we're headed towards Oscar season. And
God.
I'm really looking forward to this batch of useless fucking movies where you self-aggrandize yourself through everything. You're going to walk the red carpet in your own grandeurism. You're so useless. You're done. Hollywood, your opinions, you're done. Please put a wall up between us and Hollywood. California, if you drop in the ocean, I used to think Florida was a wasted state, but now that David Hasselhoff is gone, I don't really think there's nothing left in California that's worth saving. What do you think?
I think the next earthquake should be big enough that the San Andreas Fault is the new end of Nevada.
You know what would be cool about that? Is that we could create a tidal wave enough to where we could actually put out the fires in Fukushima and possibly not have to poison our entire Pacific island. So California, if you drop off tonight, you would be saving the world, and we'll give you a star on the wall. But other than that, I'm really not sure where you're headed. I don't understand. I don't know what they're looking for. They want to fight everything. We've got these.
They're looking to be inflammatory just to be inflammatory.
They just want to be relevant. They just want to be. San Francisco wants to be something again. You've got a prison and a bridge. Yay! Congratulations! Right? It's cold. It's dark. It's dank, and it's the weather that you grow wine in.
Yeah, that's good wine country up there. Willamette Valley, some of the best fucking wines I've ever had, by the way.
Well, Watkins Glen is there, and that's not Watkins Glen.
Watkins Glen's in New York.
Yes, the fucking other racetrack.
Laguna Seca?
Yes, that's a good one, too.
Laguna Seca is there.
Yes.
Well, it's in northern...
It'll hit me in a second.
Yeah.
But it's a waste. I mean, what are you going to do? You talk about psychos and serial killers and people who were just, they moved to that part of the world to become relevant, then they don't. And where they become famous is by Charles Manson or the Night Stalker or the Zodiac. It just goes on and on.
Agreed.
Everybody wants to go to Florida. Everybody wants to go to California. One has a death penalty, one doesn't. You idiots that come
Texas has a fucking express lane.
Yeah, well, they should. But things, I mean, we're talking about putting up a fence. Where are we at there? I mean,
it's going to happen. It's probably going to cost about $12 million, which if you did the math, $12 billion, sorry. If you did the math, it comes out to probably about $120, $150 per household. You know, if you were to...
I'm with it.
So I like to know where to send my check.
Correct.
You know, I would gladly contribute to that cause. But here's the thing. Everybody's bitching about it, and for whatever reason, everybody wants to forget that Bush 43 is the one that signed the law that
opened up the borders.
That allowed that fence to be built, because Obama built in 2011 649 miles of it from Baja down through Arizona.
That's right.
He built 649 miles of that shit. By the way, the people that voted for that would be Senator Obama, Senator Nancy Pelosi, Senator Hillary Clinton, Senator Harry Reid. Yeah. They all voted for the bill to
build a wall.
To build the wall.
And
to build the entire thing. But they have so far constructed.
Yeah.
Bush didn't get to construct any of it. He signed it late in his term, 2007, something along those lines. And then, then Obama and all the little cronies that are bitching and crying about it.
The bitches, some bitches up there now, right? He's going to be the jackass. He's going to be the one who's left holding the bag when everything's said and done. It's real easy to hate the white guy.
Yeah, of course. Why not?
Right.
It's really easy to hate the Republican, whatever that is.
Well, he's not the Republican. I think he's kind of the libertarian. He was what Gary Johnson wanted to be without...
I had hopes for a third party.
I had hopes for 19th party.
That's fine. I had hopes for another party. This two-party system has been fucked for a long time.
Yeah, it's 50-50. And that's bullshit, because they should be able to be a shot where 14% wins at some point.
Right.
Where are we leaving off? Oh, in France.
In France?
France.
Oui.
Marine Le Pen.
I don't know.
She is running for the prime minister position in France.
Good for her?
Yes.
Okay.
She's hard right, and she's riding in on the Trump train. Her current stance is France first.
Good for them.
Right?
They probably have the most...
She wants to leave the EU immediately.
As the EU should just be disbanded. It really is really what it comes down to.
And the Islamists are going to be booted from Paris. The attacks in Paris are going to come to a halt because this young lady is coming from the far right, and she's not playing. She watched Trump, and then she jumped into the damn picture. Now she's on fire.
And I appreciate that, but historically, the far right to such a liberal-leaning place is still pretty far left of what right is to us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I
have some Canadian friends, and they're like, we're conservative. I'm like, nice try.
Yeah, you're right.
And so it's probably a radical step for them.
But see, I'm kind of way left of where these conservatives here are too.
Okay.
Right? I appreciate what she's saying. I appreciate what she's looking at doing.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree.
I know that it's going to be a long, hard road, and I don't really think she's going to have what it takes to get to, like, the I don't give a fuck about what you think of me Trump level of I just don't give a fuck.
But that's what the world needs. Non-politicians running the show.
Good.
I mean, look, it's in the goddamn Constitution, or the original. It's not a career position.
No, it's not.
None of it is.
No, it's not.
If it's not a career position for the House of Representatives, or for Congress, or for the Senate, then why the hell should it be for anything else? And it's turned into one for both of those, but it was never designed to be that way. And you got people who, as a general statement, now there are some successful people that go into politics, as we've just recently learned.
We're finding out.
Yeah. But as a general statement, you have people who never had a real fucking job in their life, lived off the system, and figured out that all they had to do was run their mouth and pretend to do shit that they had no intention of fucking doing in the first place, and they could live off of the government.
Did you know that I never really realized how deep the welfare system went until Hurricane Katrina hit?
It's repulsive.
And I realized that during certain wards that there was generations that had never considered having a job.
No.
That never occurred to me till Katrina. Right? When they dropped off those trailers and those folks were
Jesus
saying...
Christ, Katrina, you live below sea level. What the fuck did you think was going to happen? Now, it's tragic that anybody lost their life. I'm not talking about that.
Nobody is.
But what the fuck were you thinking? You live below sea level. Virginia Beach is another one of those things where it's below sea level.
Right.
Guess what's going to happen?
Yeah.
Eventually. Nobody is shocked when it floods.
Right.
There's an Army base, or there's a Navy base there.
I mean,
Nobody's
I always just assumed that unemployment or that welfare or low housing was something that was just a temporary thing. I had no idea that we're looking at 80 years of a family bloodline that has never held a job, never filed taxes, never got anything that didn't come from a crackhead. Or
never owned something that they actually bought from a store and they always fell off the back of a truck.
Right. And then holding up 12 and 24 packs above their head coming out of grocery stores. Yeah. I never even considered this. I never had no idea. I guess I was dumb to the whole thing. And then Katrina opened up and it was like, we're giving these folks free room, free board, free food, free this. And all you got to do is continue to breed and we're going to continue to sustain this, and I didn't get it, and it
still
just freaked me out. I don't know how to take it yet. It's the most disappointing thing that I think I've ever come out of my opinion of what this country is supposed to be. Well, and it's not that.
I get welfare needs to exist, and the welfare systems need to exist for multiple reasons. I get that, but you should have to cycle off of them. You should only be able to be on a system. They're supposed to help you. They're not supposed to be the live off it forever kind of thing. If you're not actively searching for a job, you shouldn't get unemployment. You know? I mean,
amen.
You have to turn in, hey, I've applied to X number of jobs. I've gone on X number of interviews. Here's the fucking proof.
You know what's going on in Brazil?
Lots of shit, probably. What's that?
Well, over the last 7 days, the Brazilian police department has gone on strike.
Fucking teachers are on strike back where I'm from. Makes me fucking nauseous. Well, all we care about is the kids. Bullshit, you overpaid fucking heifers. All you care about is your fucking money with your goddamn unions. That's all they fucking care about. If you really fucking cared about the kids,
a year so that they can take 165 days a year off. I get it.
Yeah. All you fucking care about is your paycheck. When you've got teachers that start at $35,000 and within 10 years can be making $80,000, that's part of the system. Without moving up to an assistant principal, something like that, you don't provide the value of 2 teachers.
What I understand is that the entire education system is being dismantled from the White House as we speak.
Well, I don't know why they fucking elected DeVos or whatever the fuck her name is. She's...
I have no opinion on this whatsoever.
You know, I bet looking into her background, you'd find she's a corporate raider. She's like the Danny DeVitos and other people's money.
She almost sounds to me like somebody who was never meant to take over the position to start with. That she was kind of like the bait, so while they disassemble the entire system.
Right. So maybe she's a corporate raider. Maybe she's the ones that go in and take, they buy a business, and then the sum of its parts is worth more than it as a whole. And they start selling it off.
Okay.
So this machine is worth this, and this, blah, blah, blah. So
privatizing the system.
Almost. Yeah. I mean,
selling it.
Yes, essentially. They break it down, they sell it piece by piece, they get what they can get.
That might not be a bad
thing. No, it's a waste of fucking time. Common Core is a joke. And,
well, No Child Left Behind wasn't much.
But we still have that.
I know it. Isn't that what's really kind of a shame?
It is. You can't hold a child back. The grading system means absolutely nothing. So, if a teacher fails, like a 3rd grade student for whatever, they're not allowed. I don't know.
Why do we do this? I mean, why can we not let the government take over one section of our deal and just deal with it?
Well, the government's well known for its ability to manage money and people.
Oh, really? I don't understand. I don't understand how we get here. How we just let the corruption seep up.
Because we go back to what I said earlier. Once you convince people that if you vote for them, they have to do less because you will take from others to support them. You're liberal fucking ass.
Well, yeah. I think this was kind of the core to my question. Why are we here? Well, we're feeding the system. We don't have enough common sense to just vote for the guy that doesn't have incumbent next to his name on the goddamn ballot, right? Just to wipe the slate clean and say, you're all goddamn fired. You need to go home.
When I voted in my precinct in Georgia for the presidential election, outside of the U.S. Congress, Senator, President things, there was one third-party person on the entire ballot for everything happening in my state.
Right.
That's a problem, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yes. I mean, putting Donald Trump on the Republican side of the ticket is an embarrassment in itself.
No argument.
The dude's not a Republican.
No, he's not.
He's definitely not a Democrat.
No, he's not
really.
He's given hundreds of millions of dollars over the course of his career to both sides because he had to grease the wheels both ways to get his buildings done or his golf courses built or whatever the hell it is that he was trying to get done at that time.
Well, were you stuck on these snowflakes? I mean, is the dude going to do a good job, or are we going to end up in a nightmare that we'll never be able to dig ourselves out of?
My true concern is that, and you have to have we've talked about this before, you have to have a solid, bigger, larger than life ego to do this type of job, right?
Right.
My concern is that he won't back down when he needs to back down.
From nobody.
There comes and there comes a point where, like, okay, do we want to go to war with anybody? No. But I'd rather go to war with Kim Jong-un than Vladimir Putin. I mean,
I can see that.
I mean, I'd rather go to war with North Korea than China. Because China.
I can see that.
Because China is big. North Korea's biggest only ally really is China, and it's more of a we'll just keep you from getting your ass blown off, and that's really about it. They're not really allies.
What is the biggest threat then? Where's it coming from? Iran. Where are we at with Iran? Iran keeps launching these missiles. Iran has taken our dollar and just basically flushed it. Iran has basically kicked us off of their planet, and they're being fed by the Russians. I mean,
they are. They were Russian. It was a Russian ICBM that they launched 2 weeks ago.
Right.
Yeah.
They launched one today. Absolutely tight. And they're just taunting this whole deal that the last administration left. They took the money, they ran, and they bought weapons with the money that we gave them so that they could show us that they're tougher than we think they are.
Yeah. It's all posturing. It really is. And that's what kind of concerns me. Like, over the past, I don't know, year, something along those lines, the Russians have dive bombed our carriers, our carrier fleet out in the,
of course,
right out in the China, out near China, and all that, right?
Yes, sir.
But that was a show of force that should have never happened. That should have never been allowed to happen. The first time that happened, the conversation should have been very simple. I don't want a war with you. I don't want to fight with you. But if you do that again, I will blow them out of the fucking sky. Don't make me do it, but I will do it. And
we have video of our guys bowing down to the Iranian Navy.
Which is bullshit.
Yeah. Right.
Blow those motherfuckers out the sky or out the water or wherever they happen to be.
Right.
Like,
off their camels.
Yeah.
But I mean,
pretty much.
Where are we at? Where's the big threat? Is it coming from the Middle East, Russia?
Honestly, I see the biggest threat as the amount of our debt that is held by foreign nations, which is 40% of our debt, of our national debt, of our probably $20 trillion national debt.
Trillion.
Yeah, $20 trillion and change national debt. 40% of that is held by foreign nations. A vast majority of it, China. China does things to spur their economy that we do privately, but we would never publicly do.
Correct.
Last year, they cut the value of their own dollar.
Yeah.
And which is...
Yeah, they did.
It's a bold move, but it spurred their economy.
Yeah.
It allowed other companies from outside of China to buy more product and spur their economy. So, but they were upfront about it. They said, hey, this is what we're doing because it's going to work. We do that all the time. Every time we cut an interest rate and things of that nature, every time we print money that isn't accounted for by the mint because the CIA has their own press.
Correct.
We devalue our money all the time, but we would never have the balls to publicly say it.
Correct.
It's shit like that ego that's going to be our fucking downfall. I don't think it's any one specific place. Yeah, event or a place. Right. No, I think that's just going to be part of our downfall.
So, yeah. I mean, I get that. And it's scary. It's a scary time. I mean, I don't want really be a survivalist, but you got to really start thinking about it because power grids and whatever. And that's one of my big fears is that we'll lose power for 6 weeks. Oh, in 6 weeks? Oh, this place will be a fucking madhouse.
6 weeks? The grocery stores have 3 days on average worth of supply.
Yes, exactly.
6 weeks?
Well, 6 weeks is going to decide if you're going to be a human or if you're going to be a fucking animal.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Oh no, there'd be. Yeah, the police force would be non-existent.
Yes.
2 weeks. Yeah. No. National Guard have been packed up by week 3.
Well, I'm assuming that 6 weeks you're going to have people who have just run out of options, who are just going to scatter, and that's when it becomes my problem.
Fair enough.
Right.
Yep.
That's when I've got to start worrying. And it's.
I don't have enough ammo for that yet.
You really?
I don't have enough ammo for that. I've got enough ammo for a week or two, but I don't have enough ammo for a revolution.
You know what
I mean? Like I just don't
run or what have you.
Right. Like I mean, we can be strategic,
but I can always jump sides and just blend into the crowd until I can break away again, and then.
Well, there's a lot of people out there that need killing.
There's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of ammo that's going to be wasted that cause people miss.
Right.
Yeah,
so
that's absolutely true. That is absolutely.
If you don't know how to repack your own bullets, you're.
Yes. Don't.
Hey, here's a novel idea. Buy fucking flintlock rifles.
Don't use aluminum shells.
Well, yeah,
they're not worth having.
Yeah, they're not reloadable, but.
No.
But no, buy old flintlocks and shit like that. Old muzzle loaders. You can pack some rocks and some glass down in there.
The scariest thing I ever seen in my life. We was down in the valley one time and we blasted off one of them 50 cal muzzle.
That's what I've got, dude.
God damn, that son of a bitch filled that valley with smoke, and that dude handed that gun over to my dad and he says, "Take this away from me. I don't think I can move." That shit was horrifying with that son of a bitch.
I bought one. I was at an auction. It was at the auction where I bought the Eclipse, Kimber Eclipse custom that I have.
Yes, Kimber.
Love my Kimber. I
put down on a Glock 22 today.
I'm so sorry. God damn it.
I know.
I cannot stand Glock anything. They're just ugly. They're just ugly.
Yeah, you're right there.
They're just ugly. I'm not saying they're not functional.
My Smith & Wesson, and I just like...
I know, because 1911...
buy one type of ammo, and it's going to be 40 cal.
Right, and a fucking... For any type of 1911s, Kimbers, anything like that, you need a fucking engineering degree to get that bitch apart. Mine's real simple.
That Desert Eagle is a fucking motherfucker.
But what was I? So same auction. I bought that and some other guns, and we're sitting up there, and there's they bring this old muzzle loader, the old 50 cal muzzle loader, and they start at like $200. Nobody says a peep.
Yeah.
$150. He gets to 50, and he's like, "Will somebody give me $50 fucking dollars for this thing?"
Fucking 50 cal?
Yeah. I said, absolutely. I'll take it. I don't know whether I was going to mount it over the fireplace or what.
Okay. All right.
But I've never shot it. I need to.
Yes.
It looks like it's going to be fun.
Yes.
It's going to be a shoulder dislocating event, I'm sure.
Oh, absolutely.
I used to have an old an IRA. The old original AR design was made by Armalite, and it was called the AR-18 or the AR-180. It's the same thing. We're talking the old IRA style 70s rifle, collapsible stock, all that kind of shit.
Offered me an AR-15 500. Do you think I should jump on it?
Yeah, a basic one like a DPMS or something like that.
Yes,
yeah.
It's bottom of the line.
Yeah, because the bottom line to your bottom of the line is it'll still fucking fire every time.
Yeah.
And 223 or 556, you got some interchangeable ammo right there.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good deal. I've got some really cool speed loaders.
That's why I like 38s and 357s also, is because you can drop two different shells in the same chamber.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you've got that flexibility.
You're opening up. If you've got a 45 ACP, guess what? If you don't find 45 ACP, you're not dropping nothing. I kind of like the interchangeable.
Absolutely.
Shells there.
Well, as usual, we've gotten way off topic, and we are just about out of time for this episode.
Had a good time.
I did. Looks like we covered everything.
Yeah. All of my notes came together this time.
That's good. That's important. So I think we're going to wrap this show up, and we will see you guys next week.
Absolutely. Hey, this is fun. Just keep it coming back. Send us an email to where, bud?
I don't know. I'm working on that still. We'll get that.
We need to open up Gmail.
Yeah, we'll take care of that. We'll make it look professional.
We'll be back.
All right.